Whoa.
You look like you would still have a Nokia brick.
Yeah, I know. My dad was like, no, I don't want you to be like plugged in. He was
Right.
He kept saying plugged in. I was like, you talk a lot about plugs.
I don't want you to be a guy who makes his living off the internet.
Yeah.
I don't want you to be that kind
R.I.P.
of person.
Rest in power. Yeah.
R.I.P.
No,
to a
but
legend.
but I did get I got a hand-me-down flip phone, which was huge for me.
Whoa.
Huge for me when I was like entering high school.
Sure.
Because I just had family friends who were like, okay, we can't get you a smartphone, but we can't let you go into high school with a brick.
Right.
We just couldn't. And so I had that, and that was how, and then when I graduated high school, then I got an iPhone.
Totally. How old are you?
I'm 28.
Okay.
How old
cool.
are you?
25.
You're 25.
Yeah,
A little baby.
Little baby.
Little baby.
I'm the third youngest person on my show, on our like proper staff, although we do have a PA who's 17.
Wow.
Whoa.
Very jarring.
How
He
did
is-
you get connected with this
He is the
infant?
son of my director's clown teacher.
Which makes you
Step clown.
Step clown.
Step clown.
Step
step
clown.
clown.
Welcome to Two Nosy Meerkats,
Welcome to Two
where
Nosy
Lucas
Meerkats.
reveals exactly what he's into. He's slurping.
What? Did you say something? Excuse me.
Did you say something?
What? No.
Did
Look
you
at the beautiful
reveal
weather we're
something
having.
incriminating about yourself?
Step clown. porn.
Step clown. Today we have an amazing step clown on the pod. Lucas, do you want to do the honors?
Nope.
Okay.
No, I will do the honors. She is a wonderful comedian. She's the host and creator of Late Stage Live, which I'm very sorry to ask. Could you tell me the platform where people can find it on?
Yeah, you can find our full episodes on YouTube, and you can find clips on Instagram and TikTok and
Clips on social,
Yeah.
show on YouTube. Give a round of applause for your friend and mine, Ella Yurman.
Hey. What is Late Stage Live for those who are unaware?
Yeah, Late Stage Live is the pitch I've been sending to media outlets is we are a queer Gen Z political comedy late night show filmed and aired on public access television in Brooklyn and also on YouTube. We're very much modeled after things like The Daily Show and Last Week Tonight. And like
The O'Reilly Factor.
Exactly. Bill O'Reilly has been a huge personal influence to me, and when he lost his job, I did cry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all held a vigil.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just just such a powerful voice in
I know.
the media.
I held a seance.
And I'll say
To
it.
bring him back.
He did
To
nothing
bring
wrong.
back the show. The show was dead, and I wanted to connect to the show.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm more of a Bill Maher girl.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You got to pick one of the Bills.
You gotta pick up. My dad's name is also Bill, but I'll
Right.
throw him away.
I like Buffalo.
I played Buffalo Bill in Annie Get Your Gun in 5th grade.
Whoa.
You couldn't tell?
You can tell. Come on.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay. You can say it.
It was beautiful. It was a beautiful time in my life because I really wanted to be Annie in Annie Get Your Gun, but
Sure.
I was so ready to be Annie that I was ready for when they came in and announced the parts, like fake faint and feign surprise.
Aw.
I was 10. I just want to say, I'm not like this now, but when
10?
I'm not 10. I'm 11. Okay.
Oh my God, you're such a growing girl.
Wow.
You're getting so big.
I'm 11 and a half.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Gen Z.
Whoa.
Gen Z.
Would that
No,
be
you're Gen Alpha. You're
Ooh,
Gen Alpha
fuck.
if you're 11.
Yeah.
Do we have Gen Beta yet? That's a really embarrassing name for a generation.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
that's true. They're always going to be the little sisters to Gen Alpha.
Yeah, I know.
That's pretty
Gen
sad.
Beta, I would be Gen Beta.
Sure.
Yeah,
I'm
you would.
so
I'm often
Gen
saying that about
Beta.
you.
I'm a hardcore Gen Beta.
Lucas is a whole different generation.
I'm
Born in the
Wow.
wrong generation.
wrong
He should be younger.
born in the wrong generation.
such a
I'm Gen Beta. Kids now, they're kids.
It's a borderline pedophile thing to say, to be like, I was born in the wrong generation. I wish I was 5.
Man.
Oh, riffs. Okay, so wait, how did you start this late night? It's so cool that you're like 25 and you've started an entire thing where
Yeah,
like,
it's been
so many people are on board.
It's such an insane endeavor. I really think in some ways that the fact that I'm so young is the only reason I get projects like this off the ground is because I have the naivete to be like, yeah, I can make a TV show and then just do it. Whereas if I was
But forgive me for interrupting, but I feel like it's that exact same ethos of just being like, I didn't know any better, so I just went for it, is the reason why so many people found the success that they did.
Absolutely. I mean, I used to direct Shakespeare projects over the summer in between college.
All right,
and I directed Hamlet when I was 19.
Let's cut this.
I directed Hamlet when I was 19, and looking back on that, having like done more reading about Hamlet, like now I do not feel prepared or old enough to direct Hamlet. But at 19, I was like, yeah, I can do that. Why not? It's just a play.
It's just a play.
It's just a play.
Thank God shit like that never happened.
Right.
You know? Yeah.
But yeah, so I have been writing for Some More News on YouTube for about 3 years. It's also like a political comedy video analysis channel. It started at Cracked, back when Cracked had a video team. And then when Cracked fired all of their video staff all at once, they went independent. It's hosted by Cody Johnston and Katie Stoll and a bunch of other Cracked people. So they hired me in 2021 as a writer, and I love writing for them. But there's a bunch of stuff about like The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, which I grew up watching, that is not a part of Some More News that I really missed. Some More News is just Cody in a room talking to camera. It's a YouTube video. So there's no audience, there's no guests except for like the occasional puppet that they bring on. And it's just also like as...
One sec, sorry.
Oh my god, what the fuck is that?
Are we out of space or is there...
I cleared up space. What the hell is going on?
Uh-oh.
Oh wait, hold on. Sorry about that.
Technical difficulties. I'm sure you never deal with this.
Right. Oh my
sure
god.
Everything goes so smoothly. Yeah.
I forgot to hit delete on Shelby's footage. That's very careless of me.
Oh, that's okay. We'll just clap in the middle and we can...
Yep, we are back.
Okay.
We're back. I am so sorry for
No
the
worries.
interruption.
So you're talking about puppets.
I was talking about Puppet. Yeah, so Some More News is, I think, a brilliant show. I've been watching it since its inception. I was so thrilled to be writing for them, and I still am. It's a really cool opportunity. But there's and I think it's also really pushed me to grow as a writer and a political thinker. But as I kept writing for them, like just like a bunch of stuff came up. Like I missed the live audience format. I miss performing. I don't perform on Some More News. And I miss just like various. Like it's also Some More News is very Last Week Tonight oriented in that it's like one big story every episode, and I missed the ability to sort of talk about more subjects in one like sitting and talk about stuff that's more concurrent. And then last year, I went to K Night Live, which is Kay Loggins, who's a comic in the community. She hosts a like actually live streamed late night show every so often. It is like sent out, it's live streamed out to Twitch. I helped out with the production of that. It was a 12-hour production day where everyone was running around doing crazy things.
Yeah.
It was filmed at Life World, which was just like an empty room. People brought in cameras and insane, like 100 million technical difficulties, speaking of technical difficulties. And I was having so much fun and watching all the technical difficulties and like what was going into making this project. And I thought, wow, crazy that you can do this on a budget of nothing as like just like a young person in Brooklyn. And I bet I could do something similar, but not live, like not actually live. And that then editing would let me make it look a lot cleaner and different. And so like, that was the big wake up call of like, oh, you really can just do stuff if you want. And so I reached out to my head writer and like co-collaborator Reed Pope in April of last year, and said, hey, we don't really know each other, but do you want to make a TV show together? And they were like, absolutely. And so we reached out to writers kind of slowly and had a bunch of meetings over the course of the summer where we talked about like what the vision of the show would be and sort of what the structure would be. And we fleshed out the character of Ella Yurman on the show a lot. And then our first episode came out in October, I think, of this year, or maybe November even. I think November. And then we've been doing it monthly ever since, and it's been really hard, and it's basically a second full-time job for me. And the team has like slowly grown and grown and grown. Reed and I reached out to Octavia, who's our director and another executive producer, pretty fast. So for a while it was just the three of us and our writing team. And then we reached out to Skylar Back, who is our line producer and executive producer and does a bunch of stage management stuff on the day. And then slowly we've grabbed like consistent, we have a sound lead now. We have like a consistent like camera operator. We have someone who does visuals for the musical guest every month. Like we slowly are building a team that comes back every month, which is a hard ask to ask people to, it's all volunteer right now. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/latestagelive. but like not enough money is coming in to like pay anyone the amount that you deserve to be paid for making a TV show. But yeah, it's been a really cool like community effort to get people involved, and I think the show has really grown over the past 6 months. We just taped our 6th episode yesterday. It'll come out on Monday, and it's been really cool to see just like how we've gotten better at writing for the show, how the voice has evolved, how we've streamlined the production process in some major ways. We're taking like bigger swings with like physical comedy especially on the guest correspondent pieces and planning stuff. We want to go to the DNC in Chicago in August and do like field reporting if we can.
So
Oh my God, that's so
cool.
exciting.
Oh, I can't wait for that.
Yeah. So it's been really cool.
Can you share any ideas that you have in the tank of like what you want to ask like people when you get there?
I pitched, and my writers were so on, which is so great because I think I'm a very talented performer. I think I'm an okay comedy writer, honestly. But I pitched going up to like politicians and asking them really like niche online queer discourse questions.
I think that's funny.
Excuse me,
yeah.
Senator Fetterman, what do you think of AFAB only housing?
It sounds fabulous.
A fabulous house is just
A
what
fab
we need
house
right
is
now.
good.
Yes.
But I'm really excited for that. I think we want to try and interview politicians, but also like there'll be a lot of protests happening around that time, especially assuming, like there isn't a miracle cure to what's going on in Palestine right now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the election cycle is gonna go smoothly. That's
It's
great.
Yeah?
Great.
Yeah, it's going to
no
be chill. We have two
problems.
normal, regular candidates.
Two
Yeah,
normal
yeah.
guy- Can
Real
you ask
rangy.
Kamala Harris
Yeah.
what drugs she's on? Because I need
that, right?
I need that shit. Yeah.
We made a coconut joke on the show yesterday, actually.
Oh yes, Lucas. Do you know about the coconut tree thing?
There's
No,
a
I
clip
don't.
of Kamala Harris, I believe, speaking to the press, where she's
so good.
clearly stoned, like stoned out of her mind, and she goes, "All these young people these days act like they just fell out of a coconut tree. You exist in the context of everything that came before you."
It's well after she says coconut tree, she laughs for like 5 seconds. You think you just fell out of a coconut tree?
Oh my God, that sounds like me when I did a soapbox.
What did you talk about?
Oh, I talked about buttered noodles.
Really funny.
Pro or con?
Crush that. Yeah.
Oh, I was very pro.
Good.
I was very pro. I was like, it's a humble origin. It's comforting. It's cozy. And I remember I was like, I was very high.
Totally,
And I
of
was
course.
and I was like, it reminds you of a time when you go to your grandma's house. She's alive.
Okay, that's good. You brought it back.
And then I made myself laugh for like 19 seconds.
Right, which is really good because I've done soapbox once, and I'm shocked at how much time is that.
It's
is.
a lot of time.
The 60
It's a lot of
seconds, yeah.
time.
I was like,
to be
yeah,
honest.
I can riff for 60 seconds on
Yeah.
something. No,
It's a lot of time. But I had a great time. It was a great show.
It's a great show. I think the bit I got, Soapbox, for those who don't know, is a show where comedians get one topic out of a box.
Didn't you get a choice of two? Like you
I got
picked
a
two
choice of
little.
two, yeah.
I got a choice of two tabs, and then
Yeah.
you could and you had a
and
choice.
one was
of, like-
LSD, and one was a topic.
Yeah, you can take the tab right now and just see how you feel. And I think I don't remember what topic I got, but you have to riff on it for like 60 seconds. I think what I ended up doing, I got something pretty like chill, like Taylor Swift or something, and I think I spent 60 seconds asking the hosts why they would make a joke out of something so serious. I think I sat on the soapbox.
I
and
took a
pretended
video
to
of you
cry.
sitting on the stage. You just got real pensive. And
I think I acted pretty sincere about it.
Yeah.
And it
I was like, cheat out.
it definitely weirded some people out, but some people really liked it. I was also really high.
Project
the
from your
420 show.
diaphragm.
I remember.
Yep.
I remember it
We've
well.
been there. Yeah.
That's very important.
Should
Yeah.
have taken acid during it.
That's a great idea. I did a 420 show. Hardly anyone was high.
Interesting. I never smoke before a show that I'm doing.
No.
I
I've never have otherwise.
Okay. Yeah, I know a lot of people who do. I mean, my co-host at T4T, Terrence Dugan, who I love, will often be smoking a joint right before we go on and will
Yeah.
offer it to me. And it's like...
Terrence
if-
was at the show I did on 420.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Terrence is a very funny guy. And
Delightful
He's
presence.
incredibly good at performing while stoned, but I would just like forget every single thing I wanted to say. I don't know. Like I try not to drink before I perform. Yeah, I like Sometimes I'll smoke in the morning. And yesterday, even though I was taping at 6 p.m., walking to the train at like 11, I was like, no, I don't even want to risk being sleepy or low energy.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
Have you had an experience where you were under the influence of something during a performance? Besides soapbox or
That's a
anything
good
like that?
question. I probably have been stoned at T for T, the stand-up show I host. Oh my God, the last T for T, actually, an hour before the show, or an hour before I was supposed to get to the bar, Terrence sent us a voice memo that was like, hey, I was feeling a little anxious, so I took an edible to calm down, and I thought it was going to be 50 milligrams, which is already a lot of, which is already a lot of weed.
Okay, just putting a pin in this, I have never taken anything over 10.
Yeah.
And 10 has knocked me on my ass.
Yeah.
50 is already, the fact that he was intentionally trying to take 50 is remarkable to me. I thought it was 50 milligrams, and then I looked at the box, and it was 200 milligrams.
Ooh. Did he see God?
Which gods?
Yeah.
Right, all of them, every single one. It was like Percy Jackson up there.
Oh my God. How was he at hosting the show?
We were really nervous. My tech person Rose, who normally is there every, normally there every show, they were gonna be tapped out that month because they weren't feeling well, and I knocked on the door. Was like, you have to be there. Like, it's an emergency. Like, I don't know what it's gonna be like.
So what was Terrence exhibiting?
When I got there, he seemed normal. He seemed fine.
Oh God.
And
That's even
and we
scarier.
were like talking about prep for the show. We do a little PowerPoint at the beginning of every show, and we were like finalizing the PowerPoint and talking through what it was going to be like. And everything seemed fine. And then we went up and did that PowerPoint, and it was mostly fine. We made a joke about how he'd taken an edible and was a little too high, and the crowd laughed. And then normally we alternate going up in between acts to like riff and introduce someone. And I went up and introduced someone, and then while the next comic was performing, Terrence goes, Ella, can you do all of them?
Oh yes.
Poor little baby.
I was like,
Amazing.
it's like, yes, I got you. And then he sat in the audience for the rest of the night, and until the very end when he came back up on stage and we did our outro, and was just very clearly high, but like, hey, you can have a really high audience member. That's not a problem. He was a very enthusiastic audience member at his own show.
Yeah.
I got really high at this this queer roast battle that Max and Clara
flamethrowers.
did. Flamethrowers.
And it was my fault.
Oh no.
I gave you the edible.
You gave me the edible, but I think it was like even when I'm sober, I'm like a laugher when it's awkward.
Sure.
I'm like the person who will like go to mics and like, you know how at the beginning of a lot of mics people are like, don't say anything fucked up, like don't say anything bad. I'm the person who will like laugh when that happens because everyone's so uncomfortable, and I'm like, I like can't be in discomfort without laughing. And when everyone gets mad at me, they're like, it's like you're endorsing
It's not funny.
it.
Like,
and I'm like,
I know.
I know. Like that's why I'm laughing. Like,
I'm stressed.
I'm not endorsing it. But then also it's like, it's a roast battle, so everyone's like supposed to be having fun, ribbing each other. But the venue where it was happening, like a lot of people in the crowd that day who were like not comedians were like a little older, a little more self-serious. And I don't think they liked the roast format. So I get this edible from Lucas. I'm sitting in the front row. I am already laughing at the roast jokes because it's like all my friends doing.
It's a great show.
Doing
it was
fun
a great show.
comedy. It's like all my friends are doing like killer jokes. The judges are making me laugh. Everyone's making me laugh. And then the first joke fires off. The audience is silent. I turn around, look at one of their faces. There's an old woman. She's like stone faced like this.
No.
I start like crying, laughing. And then everyone starts laughing, then I'm laughing. And then I'm like the prop of the show the whole time.
And I'm like, I'm sitting next to Gabby, just like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like, I'm trying to like contain it as best as I can.
Well, also, Sunny, like, when
Oh my God,
she...
it was the show Sunny was on. I was supposed to roast her on that show, and I got COVID. And thank God, because she would have destroyed me. She would have ruined my life.
She and Maudie did this battle where, like, Maudie's another awesome
Did she ever
comedian.
tell you the jokes that she had for you?
She read me some of them. I can't recall any of them. The only one I had for her is one that I've now seen other people making, which is that she looks like a femme Weird Al.
Yeah.
Sunny and Maudie, they had roasted previously at like a roast battle called Comedy Fight Club, but for Flamethrowers they're like, oh, we can make more niche like jokes about being trans, and they went so deep that I was like crying with laughter, and everyone in the audience, I think people were like in the deepest states of discomfort they've ever been in their entire lives.
It's important to make cis people really uncomfortable.
But then afterwards, everyone was like, hey, can we have some of those edibles? Like, they were like, we want what she's on.
Well, also, Sunny is like a good friend, and like when she went up and did comedy at the end of the show, she like roasted me in particular. And I think she was coming for me so much that I said something I would have said to her in casual conversation. I was like, oh my God, Sunny, kill yourself. And then everyone around me went, Gabby, shut the fuck up. Because they literally thought I was just telling a trans woman to go kill herself.
Yeah. I had a depressive episode last month and was tweeting a lot of suicide jokes, and they were getting really good engagement. And I had to, such to the point that I had to tweet out like, hey guys, can you stop liking when I tweet I want to kill myself? It's really bumming me out.
No, we need you alive so you can keep wanting to kill yourself.
Right. Exactly. Like, I can't actually do it. And if you keep liking these tweets.
Yeah.
I was thinking about, and maybe we'll get demonetized for this, but maybe that'll happen anyway. I was thinking about how now there's this like algorithm stuff where like you don't say suicide, you say unalive, and like there's all this stuff where it's like YouTube has completely like deplatformed anything related to suicide, but it's like not even 5 years ago or like 10 years ago 13 Reasons Why came out.
I know.
What a difference.
It's TikTok's fault.
You think so?
I really think TikTok is like that's where like unalive comes from, and like spelling sex with 2 G's.
Yeah, segs.
Like, it's like,
which I now have to do now. That is how I naturally write sex now when I write my own captions.
Is the least horny thing I've ever heard.
I know.
That's so upsetting.
Lucas doesn't have sex. He has segs.
Sure.
Yeah.
Which is when you sort of just mash a bunch of eggs down there.
This is the only way I can come. This is the only way.
There's also
Yoke me.
There's orgasm, but it's spelled with like a like an at.
Sure.
Oh yeah, using like an umlaut and stuff.
It's because the TikTok algorithm is so like vicious about censorship, and I think other platforms you have this ability to like curate your own homepage and direct people to your content very specifically, but TikTok is like all algorithm all the time, and I think because of that, people feel like they have to like cave to the whims of the like the algorithm and the censorship model more.
It is also that like it is, I mean, obviously like now it's like such a massive social, but it like sort of started as like a kids dancing app.
Right.
So they still like gear it for kids. And
Forgot
like
about that.
Yeah.
Even though it's like half of it is women in the least clothing you've ever seen in your entire life. Maybe that's just my For You page.
Yeah, you're really telling on yourself.
Yeah.
You're like, half of it is just butts.
Yeah.
Dude, TikTok
Sometimes
is just
they're
beautiful
smushing it,
lesbians.
TikTok is just lesbians getting married and saying they love each other. Or not. I've heard about water talk. Do you know about this?
Oh, yes, where people pour massive amounts of sugar into their water and pretend they're being healthy.
Yes, do you know about
What?
this, Lucas?
They're like, I've invented a new water recipe, and it's just like Kool-Aid packets and like other like flavorings that are mostly sugar, and they're like, get ready with me while I prepare my water for the day, and they'll have like a big water bottle, and then they'll dump like 6 different flavor packets in there, and they'll be like, look, I invented this recipe. I call it I'm going to die.
It's basically Mountain Dew.
Right, it's so gross.
They invent Mountain Dew. Yes.
But they're framing it as like, you gotta stay hydrated. I'm drinking water. Water girlies. I'm not drinking soda. I'm drinking water. It's not water anymore.
It's so fucking funny. You have to get on water.
Have you guys seen the clip of, do you guys know Bert Kreischer?
Yeah.
Yes.
Have you seen the clip of him, and it's like him on his Two Bears, One Cave podcast, and he's like, I'm gonna take a sip of Kool-Aid, and it's like a 64-ounce thermos.
Yeah.
And like his co-host Tom is like, wait, Kool-Aid? And he then like pours out in a glass, and he's like, oh my God, you're drinking like half a gallon of Kool-Aid every day.
That's so insane.
Because that's him getting hydrated.
I had a professor in high school. I had a teacher in high school who would carry around like a gallon jug of water and just drink out of it directly all day.
That's
really
not that crazy.
I think that is crazy. How did that teacher not have to pee the entire day?
I don't know, but boy, his skin must be clear.
Did he have good skin?
So important for a high school teacher to have good skin.
Did he have good skin?
I don't remember. He was sort of inappropriately friendly with a lot of the girls in choir. That's the main thing that stuck with me.
So that's
It
why
was
he
too
had
much
good
water.
skin.
What's up, Eric?
Yeah, what's up, Eric? How you doing? Yeah.
What's his social security number?
Oh, it's 44 I don't have
Kids.
any.
1877 cars for kids.
It's 1877 cars for that ad is amazing. They all look so kidnapped in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do want to circle back just because this happened to me so recently. The most recent time I got too high, I flew to Rochester for the eclipse because it was in the path of totality and I have family in Rochester. And when I fly places, I always take an edible because I don't like flying.
Yeah.
And I take it as soon as I board. But I did not calculate for the fact that the flight to Rochester is
So
1
short.
hour.
So short. So short.
So I got incredibly high stepping off the plane. Oh no. Found my mom, got in the car. We start driving to the Airbnb and she misgenders me within the first 5 minutes of that trip. I've been out as trans for many years. And in my high state, my response, she misgenders me and I immediately go, "For real, dude?"
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And she says, "No." It's like, I have to respect that.
That kind of rocks.
That's exactly how I'd respond if I was her. Just like, no.
Not for real.
All right. I was wrong.
That fucking rules.
Yeah. Love my mom.
How was the eclipse, the totality?
It was cloudy, so we didn't get to
was
see
cloudy.
the corona, which was a bummer.
Wait, did you fly on the day or did you go
I
in a day
flew on
before?
Saturday,
Okay.
and then the eclipse was on Monday, and then I flew back here on Monday.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, I had seen a total solar eclipse in Oregon in 2017. My grandfather was like a big eclipse chaser, so I didn't feel like I was bummed that we didn't get to see the actual like eclipse part because it was hidden behind the clouds. But like the sky got pitch black, and then when the light came back, all the birds flew up because they thought it was sunrise again. So that was cool.
Oh.
God, I'm so
That's
into
awesome.
eclipses.
I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever. I mean, I went out for like what little of the eclipse I
Right.
got from like where we are, but like I don't think I've ever been in the path of totality.
It's pretty cool. I mean, even with total cloud cover, it being dark in the middle of the day just feels really eerie. Everyone got quiet. Everyone like clapped when the sun came back as though an airplane was landing.
Yeah.
You know.
I actually remember a bit of really nastiness that the eclipse provided, which was that I think it was Christopher Columbus who, like, when he was traveling, well, to
You remember
the Amer-
this personally?
Oh yeah, I have great skin. I do not hang out with your high school friends, but anyway, trying to do a riff. Anyway, so but like
You know.
I think I'm trying to get where you were trying to go.
He's
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah.
He's really old, like
really
from
old,
Columbus.
very old.
Really
but he has
old.
great skin.
yes, but Christopher Columbus he needed food when he was hanging with like the indigenous peoples, and
It happens.
it happens, and they were like, "We're so sorry, we only have as much as we need. We didn't prepare any surplus. We physically can't give you anything. We want to, but we can't." And then he said, well, because he knew when eclipses were going to happen, because he had like a pretty good understanding. He said, my God is going to remove the sun if you don't give us any food. And they were like, okay. And then the eclipse happened and they were like, shit. And so they gave them all
That's
the food
so
they had.
evil. That's
Isn't it
awesome. I
horrible?
mean, it's not awesome. It's evil.
You want to say that again? Clip that.
I support everything Christopher Columbus ever did.
Say that.
I think his treatment of indigenous people was good.
Yeah.
Pop off best.
And
off,
I
yep.
liked the way he thought he was in India.
I love that about. I mean, I don't love what he did to the indigenous people.
Totally.
But I understand.
That's where you and I differ.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
know. I understand though what it means to be confidently wrong.
Right. He was like, yes, this doesn't look like where I've been before, but this must be India.
This is
Yeah.
India. Everyone
Has
was
anyone
like,
tried to find a new landmass and be like, you know what? We're calling this one India.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I'd do that.
I'm gonna go to Prospect Park and just pick a place and be like, "This is Gabvia."
That's a good idea.
I'm colonizing the playground. Okay, not the playground.
I mean, I live in Bushwick. I came all the way here. I'm like, yes, this is the Lower East Side.
Yeah, wait.
Yes.
Surely.
I bet we're neighbors, not to dox ourselves.
Oh.
Yeah.
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 No, you actually have a very nice apartment because I left my jacket at Late Stage Live when I did opening
Yes,
for you.
Lucas did warm up for us on the second episode and
Oh,
killed.
Thank you. And Octavia misgendered me multiple times.
Yes, my whole control room did spend your whole set being like, that person is a transgender woman, right?
We've talked about this on the pod.
Yeah.
We had-
Sunny started this fuckery.
We had a whole. Should we talk about the texture dream?
This is going to be a
Oh,
great
yeah,
thing
yeah,
to
yeah,
look
yeah.
back on in 3 years when we're all right.
so beautiful.
It's not gonna happen.
That's what you say.
Why do you say this?
I don't know.
Should just be saying
Just sort of
stuff.
general
I
vibes.
asked for one reason. One reason. Well, can I? Well, do you know what's interesting is that when we had
Part of it
Sunny-
is that you're not shitty to women.
that's nice.
So true.
Yeah.
That's lovely.
Must be
When
true.
I meet a man who isn't shitty to women, I'm like, I bet you're a woman.
Well, what was funny was that Sunny, when she was on, I talked about like how I've had like people like, because being online, people are like, oh, I think you're bi, I think you're gay, or even and I said, it just doesn't bother me anymore. And Sunny said, and why is that? and and I was like, because at some point you just gotta shut. But I know that if I got bothered, Sunny would be like, and why are you bothered by that?
Right? It's the same response.
Right,
either
Exactly.
way.
Response, yeah.
And so I ask you, is there anything I could do that would convince you that I am indeed a cis man?
Ooh, that's such a great
You
question.
should hit a woman.
Wait, come here.
You should start.
No.
You, should
You
start,
can't even do a
I-
fucking
okay,
pussy.
wait.
you can start talking about cancel
you go.
culture a lot more.
Ooh.
Oh.
You could be like me.
okay.
I don't know. I think there's just like physically, like some pre-transition trans women like have your body type.
It's 'cause you're a twink.
Which is like skinny
Yeah.
twink.
Okay.
A lot of trans women were once skinny twinks.
Yeah.
A
Were you
lot
skinny
of
twink?
a lot of
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
trans people are bigger as well. There's a variety
That's
of body
true.
types in the
No,
community.
I'm sort of
and
just-
I said that.
I don't think
and
so.
Lucas said that.
And I said that.
Yeah.
And you're really like seem to be very knowledgeable out of the body types of trans women. So you know, that's point two.
I would love if this conversation stopped being Lucas is a trans woman and just became like Lucas is obsessed. He's a chaser. Can
Do
I
not
ask?
cut that.
Can I ask an annoying like 30-year-old cis person question?
Yes. But only if I can give
Which
an
freaking
annoying.
Harry Potter house are you guys?
Only if I can give an annoying 25-year-old trans person answer.
Amazing.
Okay.
So a lot of people like have like a moment they realize, and a lot of people don't have a moment they realize. Like, was there a moment you were like, wait, I'm a trans woman, or was it more gradual?
I definitely did like the whole he him to like he they to they he to they them to they she to she they to she her pipeline. I did like
Fascinating.
I spent a long time identifying as non-binary. Looking back, like I was not like the type of trans person who like I always knew I was a little girl, like I wanted to wear dress, like I didn't know. Largely because it's not very well talked about. Like I sort of just assumed everyone kind of hated being a boy. I was like, yeah, it sucks to be a boy. You're kind of scared that you're like being predatory towards women all the time, and you're kind of scared about interacting, and you don't know how to. And then looking back, it's like, oh, honey.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like my voice changed all at once. I was like,
Oh, you were an overnighter.
I was an overnighter. I came downstairs. My voice was low, and I wept for hours. And I rationalized it at the time as I'll never get to play Peter Pan on stage.
What was her name? Is it Allison Williams?
Allison Williams.
Allison Williams,
Yeah.
Kathy Rigby, famously in
Yeah.
the original stage performance. It's played by women because Peter Pan has a high voice, and I love that
Yeah.
musical.
I won't grow up.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And so I, for years, was like, yeah, I just was really sad about not getting to play Peter Pan. Nothing more to look into about that. And I identified as a straight man. And I think that also made it hard. I did a lot of theater in high school. I was in a very like queer friend group. I was sort of the token straight guy in my friend group, which is ironic to say now.
Oh damn! The warning signs are there
Right.
for me.
Yeah.
God damn it!
Yeah, there you go.
But so a lot of people, I was bullied mercilessly all through high school. People would call me gay all the time, and I knew that wasn't right. Like they were like, "You're a gay man," and I was like, "No, that isn't correct." And so I was like, "Well, those are the only two options, I guess." I'm not gay, so I must be a straight man. Then I went to college and met some trans people and started
Sorry.
watching a lot of like.
I opened a window. It was
Trans-
a bad choice. And this fly
There's
is
a bug.
There's a bug.
Yeah.
There's a
I-
bug.
It's a bug who really wants to learn about queer and trans issues.
Wow, maybe it's a trans woman too.
Do you know what's
Yeah.
crazy? Yesterday there was a different fly that I punched into the toilet.
Oh, I was gonna ask how you know it's a different fly, but that's how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you would just be able to tell them apart.
Right.
Oh no, that's El Jefe.
There's two things Lucas knows about: transgender women and flies.
Yeah. But there's only one thing he can tell apart.
Right.
Flies.
Flies. Hi, I'm Sonny LaPrade.
And you're watching Disney Channel. I don't think you got the fly.
I was trying to trap it behind the curtain.
I bet I could get it with my strong arms. Yeah. Sorry, Lucas. Oh, okay. He actually did a good job with it. Not to say that you couldn't.
Not to compliment a cis man,
Not to compliment a cis man. Never in my life.
but we're not really when you think about
No,
it.
we're not. So then, when you
I
were
got to
like,
college. I went to NYU. Suddenly was like around a lot more queer people and like
Yeah.
away from home and in a different city and feeling different. And I started meeting trans people, and then I started watching a lot of trans YouTubers. It's a little bit cringe to say now, I think, because she's out of vogue, but ContraPoints was a really big influence on me.
you know,
Who
what's
is this?
ContraPoints. She's like this trans thinker. She like posts a lot of YouTube.
She's a video
videos.
essayist. She like is one of like the like video essays are like a big genre on YouTube now, but I think not Natalie, whose channel is ContraPoints,
Okay.
is like one of the first ones to really like push the form into where it is now.
I see. Okay.
It's funny that people say she's out of vogue because she just dropped a video about Twilight. That's like genuinely amazing.
I think she's brilliant still. She's been canceled many times by the
What
trans
for?
community
What'd
for
she do?
various. Ooh, if we want to get into ContraPoints discourse, we will get this podcast canceled. She sometimes tweets spicy takes that because she makes like hour-long nuanced philosophy video essays, and then sometimes she'll tweet an opinion that is not fully fleshed out, and because she has such a big platform, people dogpile her. As soon as you're famous as a trans woman, everyone is mad at you all the time. There
Yeah.
is like true of anyone being famous. I think there's a certain level of fame but like because trans women are so vulnerable, like as a demographic, like I'm aware of it as late stage grows and as I become more visible online, that I have to become more careful about what I say, and that also I will reach a point where it doesn't matter and I will get yelled at by a bunch of like 15-year-old queer people. And then also, you know, the Nazis and the fascists who are already in my DMs and comment sections constantly.
Well, shout out to the Nazis.
Shout out to the Nazis. I got
Love
harassed
you,
by
girl.
Fuck, marry, kill, Nazis, fascists,
and 15-year-old
15-year-old.
Okay, there is so few right answers here.
Listen, I'm not a pedophile, so I'll kill them.
I'll kill the 15-year-olds. I will fuck the Nazis.
Yeah.
Because at least they get cool uniforms. I think I could be into that. My ex had sort of a Nazi haircut.
Well, I did not see that coming.
Okay, brag.
I got harassed by Nazis in 2017 because I wrote an article about PewDiePie.
Whoa, really?
And
What's the intersection there?
PewDiePie's like a
he's like a Nazi,
neo-Nazi,
or
yeah.
he has like neo-Nazi fans.
Oh.
And he like wouldn't disavow them despite having millions of, like, he was like, it's not my job to disavow the huge contingent of anti-Semites in my audience. And it's like, so that was the
Yeah.
article. It was like, PewDiePie should probably take responsibility for all the Nazis who like him.
Especially, isn't he Swedish? Didn't like Sweden house a number of Nazis post-war?
Yeah. So I wrote an article that said that, and I got 100 comments that were like, PewDiePie isn't a Nazi, you fucking Jew.
That's okay. That's funny.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
But so I put at the time in 2017, like the 3 parentheses, the echoes was a big like Nazi dog whistle to refer to Jews. You would put 3 parentheses on the side of the word they, and it would mean Jews.
Okay.
And so I put the 3 parentheses around my own name on Twitter as like a reclamatory thing, as like, yeah, I am Jewish, fuck you guys. And I haven't updated my Twitter handle since then, so it's still there. But now that I'm becoming like micro famous for other stuff, I now get DMs from what I assume are well-meaning young queer people who are like, hey, I don't know if you know what the triple parentheses means, but it's kind of anti-Semitic actually. Or like, I got one yesterday that was like, I really hope you're not using the triple parentheses in the anti-Semitic way. And it's like, what other way could I mean it? And also think with your brain for one, like I'm using it on my own name. Like,
Yeah.
And I'm publicly Jewish. My last name is Yurman. I don't I don't know how to tell 15-year-old queer people how
Yeah,
to think.
Yurman, you more like you're meaning to be a Nazi.
Yeah.
Good one.
Yeah,
Wait,
killed
wait.
it. Killed
Would be
it.
funny if you were like, wait, I use the 3 parentheses to let people know that I like ice cream. Like,
Right.
something
Yeah.
like, so,
Or
like,
you're just really into parentheticals.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm really into parentheticals within parentheticals. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
could be.
I love making Yurman real thick with parentheses.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever been like, oh my god, I'm so silly. I did it for this whole, and just make up something so huge and
No,
weird?
I usually try to. I mean, I've been getting enough DMs lately because Late Stage has really been kind of exploding online, especially
So
on
awesome.
Instagram.
I've seen the clips. They're
It's
doing
been
amazing.
really
The
cool.
clips are
Yeah, yeah,
super
yeah.
funny. Yeah.
But so I've been trying to just mostly not respond to things, but every so often, like last night, I just responded to the one that was like, I hope you're not using it anti-Semitically. I responded, I'm a Jewish woman. Hope this helps.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
But I'm every time I see a mean comment on the Late Stage account, I send a screenshot of it to my like producers, and they respond, "Stop reading the comments." So I'm trying to get better at just like not looking at that stuff anymore.
It's so important not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think you kind of torture yourself with it.
I do.
I often don't read those.
I
brutal.
got a comment that said his head is not attached to his body.
Oh, good. I
Yeah.
love the physical comments. I got one that was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
the only thing funny about this is them big ass ears.
Sorry, big ears are in right now. People gotta see challengers.
Also, the video of my hair was like this. You couldn't see my ears.
Damn.
That's
Very-
that's
very
okay,
odd.
That's just wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fucked up.
I will say I when I started working on this show, I knew it was gonna get like mean comments because it's a politics show, it's a trans show, it's a queer show. Like if we got any visibility at all, which I wasn't sure we would, but I knew if we did, we'd get some hateful stuff. I've been writing for Somewhere News for years. I read those comments sometimes. Like I know what like angry conservative commenters look like. What I wasn't prepared for was being a woman in the public eye, which is that 50% of the comments on every video we put out are just about my appearance. Most of them complimentary, to be honest, but still it's like, she's so pretty, she's so hot, Ella, I want to look like you, blah, blah. And it's like, it's flattering on some level, but it's also like, hey, I just wrote a very long political essay. Could we talk
Yeah.
about that instead?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just like because Cody gets no comments on his appearance. You could scroll through every Somewhere News video. There's not a single person being like, "Cody's so hot," and Cody's a very good-looking guy. But
Right.
but I forgot that like when women do things that we get objectified immediately.
Yeah, I mean, I'll take more of those comments. I think actually, if anyone wants to,
I'll do that.
Them out oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes. I
Every time you
I'll
post
leave
from
more
now on.
comments.
Yeah,
talking about
anytime I
you.
post I probably am gonna post clips from the naked show I did.
She's so hot.
Yo, the ears on this bitch. The ears.
I'm glad she was on this naked show so we could see her ears.
It would be funny if you did not censor anything, but you just pixelated your ears.
No one's gonna say shit about my ears. Oh my god.
No free ears.
What I wanted to ask you. So one of your recent segments was about Chaya, the fucking
Lives of TikTok.
lady.
Great chick.
That segment was so awesome, and it also blew my mind because I was like, that woman is in her 20s.
And lives in Park Slope. Like nearby.
Yeah.
She's 28, 29, and just like hangs out being the worst human being alive.
She's younger than me.
That's
like,
really
that's
upsetting.
Oh my
She's
God.
a zillennial.
Imagine coaching her in like a summer camp, like you're the counselor.
It could.
There's a
could-
Very
world.
upsetting.
Could have happened.
There's a world where this happened.
What's crazy?
Yeah,
about
we
her,
were going through a draft and we called her 20 something and several different people commented like, I'm pretty sure she's in her 30s, and it's like, no, we looked it up. Don't worry.
No, she just is awful.
She's just awful.
Oh my god. So when something like that? Oh no, you go ahead.
I was gonna ask, have you ever seen this gal Pearl on Instagram?
Yes, the anti-feminist
Yes,
woman who
anti-feminist Pearl.
clearly
Who
hates
is that?
herself.
Oh, she's
Just pearly things, right?
Just pearly things. Yeah.
Look her up.
She's a fun lass. She's a fun lass.
Really insufferable.
Basically, she's just like, hey, it's hard to be a man. It's harder to be a man than it is to be a woman. Here's X, Y, and Z.
And women, she's like big into the trad wife aesthetic of like women should like be submissive and docile and be looking for a man, and like you shouldn't be sleeping around because
I like
that
her.
makes you unappealing.
I like her.
Oh wow.
Do you like her, or does she feel aspirational to you?
Wait, such a good question.
No, it's not.
Pearl Plus. That's the channel she's
Oh,
on. Pearl
good
Plus.
for her.
What the
She's
hell?
awful. She like goes on these like red pill podcast. You know what red pill is?
Yes.
She goes on like these red pill podcasts with like Andrew Tate and like the
Yeah.
like Rolo and all these like MRA boys and is just like is like the Candace Owens of women in the space that like hates women.
That's fucking hilarious.
Crazy.
That's so funny.
I will say there are you guys might cancel me for this. There are things about trad wife aesthetic that I like.
Well, that's because it's marketed to be fetish content.
Yeah, and I'm really into that.
Sure. No, go on.
I mean, mainly
Step clown.
I like being a step clown. I like that they make stuff with their hands.
Yeah.
I think everything for me just
A
comes
lot of
back.
the trad wife aesthetic is like making bread from scratch.
Yeah,
and,
yeah,
or like
sure.
making a bowl to
Yeah.
make bread from scratch.
Everything for me just comes back to a deep love of crafting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of
It's
those
nice to work with your hands and
a lot of
make
those
stuff,
videos
yeah.
are like meant to like are framed as though like you can also live this life, but they're like clearly a very wealthy person who has like the ability to
Yeah.
like have a garden and all of this beautiful kitchen utensils. And it's like one of the reasons it's so appealing is like, yes, I too would love to have the financial security to make my own bread every morning. But unfortunately, I wake up at 5 a.m. to go serve coffee to the worst people in the world.
Yeah. I wake up at 5 a.m. to serve you coffee when you visit here.
Right.
Do you have a specific coffee encounter that was like that sticks out to you?
At my current job, I'm in a corporate office, so everyone is at work, which I do think makes everyone a little bit more pleasant in that, like, they're also on the clock and, like, in their office space, so they can't... I used to barista at Starbucks, which was horrible, just abysmal.
Because of the customers or because of the people, your bosses?
Both. The customers are, like, deeply entitled. Starbucks' whole business model is, like, fast service, and so if your food is like 5 minutes slow, they're mad at you immediately. I have people order like 26-ounce cappuccinos, which is a foam drink, and then they wouldn't pick it up. Mobile order, they wouldn't pick it up for 20 minutes, and then they'd be mad at me for why it was only half full, and it's like that because it's made of foam, and you waited 20 minutes to. And then yeah, I baristed on this little bookstore cafe on the Lower East Side for about a year, and people were pretty intense there too. We got a lot of drunk people coming into the store. We had people deface our bathrooms quite a lot. Is the bookstore, the bathrooms were papered with pages from books. And one of the defacements was just random graffiti. The other one was that they had papered the walls with Harry Potter pages. And so it was a bunch of like very angry pro-trans graffiti. And I thought it looked cool and that they should just keep it. But they papered over it with like Wuthering Heights or some shit.
Oh wow.
But yeah, in this job, like nobody is defacing the bathrooms because they are all like 30-something professionals in their office, and people are generally pretty polite to me. I made Hugh Jackman tea.
That's nice. How
A few months ago. That was fun. He's very sweet. I think he's probably gay.
I've heard this. I have heard this.
Yeah, I've heard it too. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he's that nice.
What is there anything about like his order? Was it like a lavender oat milk latte? Like,
It's like you're gonna. You want Hugh Jackman to be like, "Girl, hello, I'll have a little coffee, please."
Wait, do it in an Australian accent. Girl, hello.
No,
I have never wanted to
Like a cheeky
combine.
little tea. I'm just like I'm not even doing the hand. I'm just like I'm flopping it.
Slay the house down boots.
Slay the hair stand boots. It's not even what he sounds
The
like.
first time I've tried to do an Australian accent in many years.
Yeah.
He ordered an Earl Grey tea, so it doesn't really
nice.
tell you anything other than he likes Earl Grey tea.
Yeah.
Other than he likes gay tea.
He likes gay men and cock in his mouth.
Right.
Yeah. Correct.
So I don't have any specific, I don't think, coffee orders. It's a brutal job. I quit Starbucks when I tried to unionize our store. I pushed for that. I got a bunch of people to sign cards, and then when they figured it out, they moved our open an hour earlier, which should be illegal because that's retributive union busting, but we couldn't prove it. And I was like, we were already opening at 5 and they wanted me to show up at 4, and I was like, no,
Jesus.
I will not be doing that.
Yeah.
So I quit, which felt bad that they won that fight. But all power to all of the Starbuckses that are unionizing, and I think those organizers have been really amazing.
Yeah, a couple of them have unionized.
Yeah, like a bunch
Yeah.
all across the country. I mean, a bunch in New York too.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, it's been this really big push. Unions are making a comeback the last few years.
They really are.
Which
There's
is
a
sorely needed.
pizza place in Crown Heights that's unionized now called Barboncino. They
Hell
just
yeah.
want to fight to unionize. Then there's one other place that I'm trying to remember. Oh, Medieval Times unionized.
Oh, good.
Crazy they didn't have a union. They're literally on horses jousting.
They're in their own world.
They're already united under Camelot. I don't know.
Camelot comes in and he tries to bust the union. Thou shalt open at 4. Yeah. Could be.
Yeah. Have you ever been to Medieval Times?
Once it was pretty bad in my memory.
Same way.
I was on a choir field trip.
Incredible.
in high
I was
school.
on a choir field trip.
Whoa! Where did you
Signs are-
go?
I was in Branson, Missouri.
I was in Toronto, Canada.
different.
That is different. I was like, maybe we were there at the same time. I was on a choir field trip, and we had been singing all day and doing a bunch of stuff, and like they were hosting. It was like a competition, sort of, or a showcase of a bunch of schools. So they were
Okay.
giving out like awards at the end of the night at Medieval Times. So not only did we have to sit through Medieval Times, which is, I don't know, the jousting was cool, but it was very loud, and I was with a bunch of people I didn't like, i.e. my high school peers. And
Right.
I don't remember the food being very good. I don't know. I love swords. I'm a huge sword girl. I have 5 swords in my home right now. 3 of them.
Stop, no way.
I have 4. I have more than 4, more than 5. I have 4 plastic combat ready broadswords that are like used for training. And then I have a metal broadsword, like a stage combat broadsword. It's not
Oh, wow.
sharp, but it is heavy and big. And then I have a very sharp German sword that I got as a graduation gift from a Twitter mutual.
Wow.
She texted me. She said, "Hey, what's your address? I want to send you a knife as a graduation present." And I was picturing she meant like a little hunting knife, and then like a big fuck ass sword showed up at my house.
What's your favorite sword?
I love my broadsword, my metal broadsword.
I was so
it was
hoping
like
it'd be a katana.
I do have a katana. Well, my roommate has a katana.
That's awesome.
Yeah, because they are a black belt in Taekwondo, and so they have with their name inscribed on it. It's very cool.
I thought you were about to say, because they're transitioning to a man.
Well, that too.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
are doing both of those things.
Because if there's anything I know about dudes, we love katanas.
Dudes love swords.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Interesting
Love
that
it.
you say we.
Ooh, yeah, Lucas, what's that about?
No, not we as the community. Never do
We
you.
as men. No, I know. I'm saying you're a woman.
But
From before?
I'm trying to make it logical. I was like, but as men, never mind.
Are there any swords in your house?
I do have like a toy sword somewhere
No.
around. Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know.
What
Yeah.
about you?
I have no swords. I do have a
Gotta
lot
get
of
on that.
baseball memorabilia.
Okay. That's a different thing.
It's very
Yeah.
different. It's gonna throw you off the scent
What
of
kind
whatever
of?
I
Are
am.
you a big baseball fan?
Yes.
She's a
Ooh, what's your
big,
team?
big baseball.
My Yankees, New York Yankees.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
Do you have a team?
All right. I'm the Chicago Cubs.
No way!
Yeah.
I didn't know you were into baseball.
Yeah,
Yes,
it's the
finally
only sport
someone-
that I can like meaningfully engage with.
Me too. Oh my god, we should go to a game.
Absolutely.
I
I
wanna
would
go to a
love
game
to. Go.
so
I haven't been to a
badly.
baseball game in years.
I went to see a game that you played, and it was a beautiful
Oh yeah,
time.
I played as I managed my softball team.
Oh, cool.
Yes.
It was
What
fun.
position do you play?
I play second base and catcher.
I used to play. I mean, I played when I was in elementary school. I used to play second base, which didn't make any sense because I'm left-handed, and you have to like
Yeah, it
turn
does make
all
sense.
the way
Yeah.
around to throw to first.
Lefty second baseman is tough.
Yeah, I don't know. Lefties are like famously good third baseman or first baseman, like because you don't have to turn like that.
Yeah,
second
first
base you have to
basemen
really
they're good at.
pivot all around.
That's interesting. I played baseball when I was in elementary school too, and we did not have like fixed positions. We just sort of like
Interesting.
all
I
rotated.
played
It
like
was-
you didn't have a fixed position.
no, I remember everyone.
Really?
Absolutely everyone was like
rotated us-
constantly rotating.
I think we weren't like locked, but like by the end of the season, we had basically all figured out what position we were playing consistently. And for
Right.
some reason, I was playing second base, even though it didn't. I really wanted to be a pitcher, but I wasn't very good, so I
Yeah.
was never going to get to be the pitcher.
I really wanted to be a relief pitcher.
Sure.
Because I thought it was cool that they could come out to like songs in the 7th or 8th or 9th
Absolutely.
inning and then just like pitch for one inning, crush it, like pump their fist, and then walk off the field. Like
I was
Oh,
trying
so
to.
you love the theatrical part of it.
I'm all about the theatrics of baseball. It's so high drama.
I was trying to explain to my partner baseball, and they were they like hadn't heard of it at all. I mean, they'd heard of it, but they didn't know anything about it. And I was like, yeah, so there's 2 leagues and they have different rules. And they were like, wait, what?
Wait, do they have different rules?
So one of the leagues, the pitcher is just a regular player.
Oh, they cut it. Now there's universal DH.
Really? Both
Yeah.
leagues have DH?
Yeah.
Okay. So the pitcher is a very specialized role.
Yes.
In that it's like physically painful and bad for you to be a pitcher because
Yes,
you're
I
like
know.
hurting your shoulder and elbow every time you do it. And because of that, they really want to pamper their pitchers. Pamper your pitchers.
Pamper your pitchers.
Pamper your pitchers.
Give them a diaper.
And so for a long time, one of the leagues had a rule where you would have a designated hitter, which meant when you were on offense and at bat, when the pitcher's number came up in rotation, someone else would step in and bat for them.
Right, okay.
But the other league, for a very long time, didn't have that. And the other league, the pitchers just went at bat, which was like it's a totally different skill set to be a pitcher who can also. I mean, normally when the pitcher would go up, you'd be like, well, they're gonna whiff. But it's universal DH now.
It's universal DH now.
When did that happen?
It was like 2022.
Oh, like so really recently.
Yeah, really recently. I think they did it so that more players who are very bad at the field in the National League can like have a job.
Sure. Right. That makes sense.
They also said it was to curb pitcher injuries, but now pitchers are getting injured like more than ever.
Because the like with everything else, the demand is going up for like faster and faster pitching.
Yeah.
I saw a documentary a few years ago about the concept of the fastball, and it talked about the difference, like the huge difference between a 90-mile-per-hour fastball and a 100-mile-per-hour fastball, which you wouldn't like, because 80 to 90 isn't that huge of a difference, but 90 to 100 is, and that's because at all of those speeds, your eyes can't actually track the ball moving that fast, so your brain, you see the ball here and you see the ball here, and your brain like maps a projection onto it, and so you like fake see it the way your brain sometimes tricks you that way. And so batters get used to like an 80 mile, an 85, and a 90 mile per hour fastball. So you get this like built, so their brain gets better at that prediction model. But 100, your brain thinks the ball is going to be here, and it's actually already here. So to your eyes, it looks like the ball is like teleporting, and it's like this huge, like pitchers that can throw a 100 mile per hour fastball are this huge commodity in baseball. But I assume that's becoming more and more in demand, and so pitchers are killing themselves to do it.
But it is interesting because in Japan, pitchers will throw like 200 or 300 pitches like a day, and they don't get hurt as often. I wonder if it builds up a certain thing in your arm.
Interesting.
Where you'd think that they get hurt all the time, but they
Right, because pitchers also like tap out halfway through the game. Like you'll often get 3 or 4 pitchers in a single game from one team.
Wow.
Because they'll pitch like 50 or 60 pitches and then like get tired and start throwing worse. And,
They got understudies.
yeah.
Yes.
And a big thing about baseball is once you tap a player out, you can't bring them back in.
Yeah.
And so it's like the coaches having to make this very strategic decision about when to like which pitcher to put on first, and then also like how long to keep them in. I'm thinking about the 2016 World Series when the Cubs won. It got down to like Game 7. They hadn't won the World Series in 103 years or something crazy. It was like a record for. The Cubs were like famously the team that hasn't
won. The climax of King Lear.
I've never read or seen it.
Go on.
I love that you're trying, and I'm like, you said another thing I still don't know.
Think about it like the end of Star Wars.
The end of the L word. They're all
My favorite part of the L word.
But yeah, it was down to the last game of the series. It's a 7-game series. They were tied up 3 games to 3 games, and their first pitcher, they had to tap out, and he pulled him early. And I remember my mom and I sitting on the couch being like, he shouldn't have done that. He's thrown the whole game. Why did he? And then they started losing. Like their next pitcher wasn't as good, and then there was a rain delay, and then they pulled it back and won the World Series in a crazy game, crazy game.
Yeah, I remember that series. That whole core was really awesome. I don't know. We can stop the baseball talk, but
No.
I do think it's important for people to know that baseball is like extremely theatrical. And here's my thing about baseball. I don't know if you agree. It's like it's a long sport, so people feel inclined to like go on their phone because they're like, oh, maybe it's long, so I can check my phone. I won't miss anything. But the reason why it's so dramatic is because if you look away for a second, you might miss something.
Right.
So it's one of those weird things that doesn't cater to our generation at all.
The
because
attention
it's
span
a
thing, right.
long amount of attention that you have to spend on one thing. You have to hyper focus. You specifically cannot be on your phone.
Right.
Like anime.
Because there'll be
Yes.
these long moments of standing around and nothing happening, but then if you glance down, it's like, what did I miss? There was just like a
Yes.
home run and it's over.
But that's what's fun about it, is there's so much tension built up because it gets to that point of like, oh my God, when is something going to happen? And then finally something does, and it's like, what? Everyone goes
Yeah.
fucking crazy.
Do you like edging?
I just call that masturbating. Because I sometimes can't.
That's all
come.
you do?
Yeah, I thought that was what masturbating was.
Was just saying no to yourself.
It was like, I didn't start coming until like this
Just
year.
now.
Like this year, like with myself.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh my
Wow.
Like coming consistently, I would sometimes be able to make myself come, and I could come with people. I'm
Interesting.
I'm
That's like the
opposite.
reverse of most people.
Yeah, most people can only come with themselves.
It would be funny if you were like talking to an ex and being like, oh yeah, Gabby, that dude does not know how to make a woman come.
Yeah, and I'm great at making other people come. I will have you all know.
Is anyone talking about this? This bitch Gabby?
Yeah, no one is talking about that. Yeah, I'm always edging people, and then like, all right, well,
Well,
it's great to see you.
Because you don't know about coming. You've never been able to do it to yourself, so you don't know it. You're like, that was awesome, right? Bye.
I
Yeah.
can do it to myself now, but it just took me such a long time. I think it was because I lived in like a small apartment, and I've told this. Hold on, I've told
She
this on
needs
the
a lot of
pod
space.
before. My storage
Stretch out.
The storage closet for my house was in my room, and my mom was one of those people who like could not wait to get a towel. So I would be in my room trying to masturbate, and then I would have my door locked, but I would hear the door, like she wouldn't knock, she would like just pull the door,
Oh, that's not good.
and then like I would hear like a 3-second frustration that it was closed, and then she'd like bang on the door, like let me in. So I never thought, I was like, okay, well, like I just can't
Okay.
finish, you know.
That's why.
But then I would also then like be at night like trying to like think like, okay, do I want to masturbate now? But then I would just fall asleep.
That's so sad.
I get the horniest in the afternoon, and in the afternoon was when it was the hardest to do it.
Because that's shower time for mom.
Yeah, and then it was like a mental pattern for a while where I was like, I don't even know how to get myself there.
What about
That is
the
a-
afternoon is arousing to you?
Just that I think it's kind of alluring that like I should be working.
Sure.
You know?
Ooh, so it's like it's the cultural implications of that time of day.
Yes, the mornings I'm like actually working, and then the afternoon I run out of steam, but I should be working. You know,
Fascinating.
yeah. Also, for like the female body, apparently like we get into our like sexual prime in like our 30s. So I think I just might be hornier than I was before.
Do you feel it? Do you feel a new fire ablaze inside you?
Absolutely not. I feel like I should have a fire, but it's more of like I actually feel a lot calmer because I'm masturbating.
Sure.
That's good.
You know?
That's
Feel a lot less
lovely.
on edge.
Yeah, I'm not all the time like, oh, angry.
Yeah.
Right, so we're actually coming out as anti-edging.
Yeah, I'm but with baseball I like edging.
Totally. I also think baseball is a much better sport to watch live.
Yes.
I think that's true of all
I thought
sports,
you were gonna
but
say it to masturbate too. It is a better sport to watch live, I agree.
I think that's probably true of all sports, but I do think like the baseball experience of like sitting in a baseball field and like getting to eat popcorn and
Yeah.
a hot dog and
So
ice
good.
cream in a little helmet cup.
It's a cheerful
helmet.
sport.
It's a
as well.
cheerful
It's a
sport.
very cheerful
It's America's
sport.
pastime.
Yeah.
No.
Wait, is there a sport you think is? This is also me setting up because I have an answer to this question. But
Great
first,
hosting.
What?
It's great,
Great
hosting.
Thank you. Yeah. Do you have a sport in mind that you think is the worst to watch live?
That is the worst to watch live. I just find football kind of uninteresting to watch in general. I grew up in State College, Pennsylvania, which is like a football TM town. I moved there the year Jerry Sandusky was outed as a horrible pedophile, which is a huge
Whoa.
bummer because any other year you move there, it's like, I'm moving to State College. They're like, where? But now that year I moved there, I was like, I'm moving to State College. They're like, oh, the pedophile town.
Yay.
Totally. But like the culture there is like Penn State. We are Penn State football, 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 football. So I have an aversion to watching football live. But I don't know. What's your answer?
Oh, same. Football.
Football. Why?
Because it's so long.
Yeah.
There's no commercials.
Yeah.
You know, and like I was there. It was also I went to
What about the Super Bowl?
Super Bowl is great.
Sure.
I love the Super Bowl.
Let's go Travis Kelce.
Yeah, go Trev. I like that Travis Kelce made football like a liberal sport.
Yeah.
Now the conservatives are mad at football and they think that like men should just work. I think
Right.
I can't tell what they want.
Conservatives
I
are
don't
gonna
think
get
that.
real concerned about CTE all of a sudden.
Yeah, I know.
That's amazing.
But
That's a
years
great-
ago,
what a great
conservatives were so
ploy.
into football. The goalposts are changing.
I know. Well,
Yeah.
that's so odd for the Republicans. They've never changed the goalposts
Yeah.
before.
But it's also my experience in football. It's so cold watching. I remember just being so cold. Just in
It's
the
a bad
stand.
season for being outside.
Yeah, it sucks.
Yeah.
It's just and it's like 4 hours long. It's also like
And there's a lot of pausing.
there's so much pausing.
Baseball, at least, is long and slow, but like the game is going at all times. There's
Yeah,
never
yeah,
a point
yeah.
where they're like, except for the point where they make you stand up and sing the song, which is awesome.
That's
I
nice.
love when they make you sit. Yankee Stadium does a crazy thing where they will put the jumbotron on a random person and designate them the fan of the game.
That's awesome.
And it is always the person who is least camera ready.
That's great. That's a great bit.
It's always a guy with popcorn in one hand and he's kind of spilling it on himself and then like beer in the other hand like this and he's making a face that's like a half smile half
You're
frown.
playing the bass right now.
boop, 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 boop. And then they designate him fan of the game. It rocks.
That's
That's so
awesome.
good.
Yeah.
I've never been on a Kiss Cam, but it's my live stream.
Oh, that's a lovely.
I made
thing.
that up just now, but I think I'm
Oh, I
deciding.
just believed you.
I'm deciding
I
now
believe
that
women.
it's my new live stream.
Yeah.
My old live stream was to be on this podcast.
Fuck
and
yeah.
we've achieved it.
We achieved
Well,
it.
our
Check.
live stream is to have you answer some
listener
listeners.
submissions. Let's see if we can. You
good
read the one I sent.
transition.
And
Lucas,
I'll see if we got any new ones.
I'm gonna say that is the second best transition you will ever achieve in this life.
That's too
Get
good.
him,
That's too
get
good of a
him.
line. That's too good of a line. I can't knock that. Oh god. Okay. Well, I have the one that you sent me. Shall I
Perfect.
read it? Okay.
Yes.
All right, so hey guys, I wrote in back in the fall about how I was running a half marathon as a little personal revenge story after a big injury. Well, now I am running a full marathon. I am hoping to finally put everything behind me and be a brand new bitch. Any tips for how I can be even more extra this time? Love the pod. Have a great day. P.S. I promise not to write in and 6 months, so say I'm doing a double marathon. This is
Tuesday,
where
I
it
think,
ends.
yeah.
Yes. So and I promise not to write in and 6 months. So, I'm sorry, that's a weird
I
sentence.
promise not to write in 6 months to say.
I promise not to write in 6 months to say I'm doing a double marathon. This is
Okay.
where it ends. So this was a person who wrote into us being like, I had like a bad falling out with a friend and I want to be really extra right now. I want to do like weird attention seeking stuff.
Totally relatable.
And we gave that person advice on how to do it.
And did you tell them to run a half marathon?
No, I think the marathon. I think they started with I'm running a half marathon. What else should I do? I don't think we gave any running advice.
Oh, okay. It was just
No.
other ways to be attention seeking.
Other ways
Yeah,
to be
do it
attention
nude,
seeking and
fucking-
extra.
yeah.
Right.
Do
Thirst
you
traps.
have any thoughts
Thirst
on-
traps, great.
Yes.
Tweeting about wanting to kill yourself has historically been awesome for me. But
really
I
good
will say,
engagement.
your parents will text you about it. My
Yeah.
dad sent me a screenshot of my own tweet and said, "Hey, are you okay?" And I said, "Not really." And then he did not follow up.
Oh, that's the worst time to not follow up.
I think so. We're good now, though. Other ways to be really extra to see, like, this is a friend breakup or a romantic breakup? Do we remember?
I can't remember.
I can't remember either.
I mean, all of my attention-seeking behaviors are posting related, unfortunately, which is causing me great shame to realize in this moment.
I mean that is the way to publicly. I guess you could get really into a certain kind of TikTok, like
Sure.
water talk.
Water talk.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, really develop like an annoying new hobby. Start playing
Yes.
Warhammer 40K.
Join an MLM.
Join an Mlm.
Yeah.
Right.
Hugely.
I know that Henry
attention-seeking.
Cavill is big into Warhammer 40K.
He is.
He's painting little figurines.
Love
he's
that.
doing,
Good for him.
He's doing all that. Built his own gaming PC.
Tattoo's a great way to do it.
Ooh, yeah.
Physical
Face
change.
tattoo?
Dye your hair.
Yeah.
When did you do this?
I was blonde until 2 weeks ago today.
Whoa.
So I had been incredibly depressed all of March. I had like a personal thing going on that was really bumming me out. And so I always dye my hair when I'm having, like, the last time I like redid my blonde was when I broke up with my ex last August. But so I was like, I've been blonde for 4 years. I'm done with this. I want to do dark hair for the summer. I made an appointment. By the time the appointment came around, my interpersonal thing had been resolved. Things were good. I was way less depressed. But I was like, I think it'll still look cool. And now people don't compare me to Taylor Swift. I did show up at a writer's meeting for Late Stage, and had not told my writers that I was doing it. And Sharia Mattis, who a brilliant writer, one of my writers, brilliant comedian, went, God damn it, I have so many Taylor Swift jokes in this script.
That's so good.
Oh my God.
No.
So we need to figure out new celebrities that I look like. I've been getting a lot of Kristen Ritter.
I see it.
Who's Kristen Ritter?
Kristen Ritter is...
She's Jessica Jones.
Oh yeah,
And
that's
also
good.
Aaron
That's a good
Paul's
comparison.
girlfriend in Breaking Bad.
Not Aaron Paul's wife in real life.
Not Aaron Paul's wife in real life.
Aaron Paul is known for being like a very specific kind of wife guy, and he made this post where it's a photo of his wife eating. It's just like her eating, and he says, look at her nourishing herself like a baby bird. I love you, my tiny wife.
My tiny wife.
That would work on me.
That would work on me. I love you, my tiny wife.
Tiny wife.
You know I want to be
I'm
your
gonna
tiny
now.
wife.
That's what I'm gonna say in the comments of your naked set.
Yeah.
Look at my tiny wife. She's so hot.
She's so hot, nourishing
nice.
herself on stage. I love you, my tiny wife.
Oh, I don't think I could say that with a straight face.
Sure. I love you, my.
What a transport.
I love you.
I love you, my tiny wife.
I love you, my tiny wife. Oh.
What other attention-seeking behaviors are there?
Stand-up comedy.
Yeah, get really into stand-up
Poetry.
comedy. Poetry.
Yeah.
Poetry
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Yeah.
Poetry, slam poetry.
Yeah,
Slam poetry.
like full pussy slam
Yeah,
poetry.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, any comedy or improv. Improv's pretty attention seeking.
Clowning.
Clowning. Right. Yeah. I mean, you could run for public office.
What?
What did you say?
I said late night show.
Sure. I do have to reckon with that I have so many people working on late stage. It's like I'm so humbled every month when I sit at the desk and I'm like, wow, there are 25 people working on crew. There are 6 writers. There are 40 people in the audience, and they're all here to see mostly just me talk for 30 minutes. Like, it's really truly humbling and special that I have so many people who have entrusted that project to me. Very, very cool. Sorry.
Start a late night show. That's
Yeah.
You'll get
great
people.
idea.
Just fucking do
staring at
it.
you. Yeah,
do
just
it.
do it. Do it.
Yeah,
That rocks.
Nike.
Nike.
Just do it.
Perfect brand, no notes.
Yep.
We don't have another
even-
like explicit listener submission, but here is one person wrote into me directly after I posted the
Oh,
story.
okay.
And wants our advice on just one sentence. I went on a date with someone introduced to me by an ex. That's it. I went on a date with someone introduced to me by an ex.
So presumably they met when they were dating. Like this is someone that like my partner introduced me to this person, and then we broke up, and now I'm
What
going
I was
out.
hearing is that. Sorry, no, continue.
That was my first instinct. Like we're dating, and I met your friend, and now we broke up. I'm gonna go on a date with your friend.
What I heard is that like I used to go out with this person. We broke up, and then post breakup, this person introduced me to a third person.
That's what I thought.
That's
Interesting.
what I heard.
Yeah.
Interesting. It could be either. I guess introduced by an ex. So what kind of advice do you think they're looking for? Like they already went on the date, so it's not how to do the
Possible
date.
she just wrote it in to tell me it was happening.
Well, that's
Yeah,
cool.
just to be like, hey, I
Thank
got a
you.
cool thing going on in my life.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Kind of cool.
Kinda cool.
Kind of a
Hey,
brag.
good for you.
If it's like
Nice to know someone's doing it.
Yeah.
like how do you tell your like what I guess there's so much information I don't have here. It's funny, I listened to some advice podcasts and I'm always like this shit's easy, but like actually I don't have any context here. Like, did your ex introduce you in like a setting them up way? Does your ex know that you're going on this date? Like what it like
It could have just been like, hey, we're at a party. Oh, this is my buddy.
right,
Yeah.
and now you're going out. It's like is the question like how do I tell my ex that I'm going
Is it
out?
all a long scheme to upset the ex?
Right, which is something I would do. That
Are these
back
the
to the
same
other
person
question.
same person just looking for attention in another way?
Right.
Right.
Attention-seeking behavior. Oh my God, date your ex's friend.
Yeah.
That is something I would do.
Date your ex's mom.
Whoa.
Can I tell you something that this wasn't intentional, but I am friends with a drag queen who is
I'm
who is
glad
my
it wasn't intentional.
who is one of my exes who I really dislike, her favorite drag queen.
Whoa.
And so that is a little bit like, fuck yeah.
Well, I have a similar experience, which is that my ex-boyfriend was obsessed with Reed Pope, my head writer on Late
Oh my
Stage
God,
Live.
yes.
That's awesome.
There
That
you
fucking
go.
rules.
Read their newsletter every single day, and like was one of the reasons I reached out to Reed was that like I knew that my boyfriend was like this is a really smart person whose newsletter I read every day. I'd had Reed on TVT a few times, and we had mutual friends, but we weren't close. But I like had read enough of their newsletter that I was like, oh, this is someone who's smart and like can get the voice I'm trying to go for. And then we broke up, and he told me that he unsubscribed from their newsletter. He was like, you get Reed in the breakup. And I was like, yes, of course I do. Reed doesn't know who you are. You are just a fan.
Would it be pretty funny if that he like changed his mind and like went to one of Reed's shows like, now I get you in Breakup. Me!
You belong to
It's like,
me now.
I've never met you.
Well,
That's crazy.
that's crazy.
That
Well,
was
I
nuts.
know there was not a lot of context for that submission, but thank you for
I
filling in
did
what you
enjoy
could.
it.
I
Yeah,
enjoyed
of
it.
course.
Would you like to take us into
Yes,
the final
we now have two final segments.
Oh, boy.
One of them's pretty goofy and one of them's real. We'll
Okay.
start with the real one. We do something called Self-Perception Corner, where we have you talk about how you think other people see you or perceive
Oh.
you, and then we'll say how we actually perceive you.
That's so interesting. For so long in my life, I had no idea how anyone was perceiving me, or like even like I mean, and a lot of this was like gender dysphoria, pre-transition. Like I didn't know what I looked like. Every time I saw a picture of myself, I'd be like, "Whoa!" I had like, and also then I didn't really have my personality down. I was like even post college and early transition, I was really figuring out what like type of woman I wanted to be and like how I wanted to move through the world. So that's like something I think about quite a lot is how other people perceive me. And in fact, like one of the ways like people I'm like dating or like romantically involved with, one of the ways I find most like important to me to express love is like being someone like just like telling me how like I'm being received by them. I find that. So this is very touching for me already. I'm about to cry.
Cry it out.
I think I come off as loud. I think I come off as kind of fast and high energy a lot of the time, which I am all of those things, I think. I have severe ADHD, which I recently started Wellbutrin, so we'll see how that goes. I've been really hyper aware of it as well since Late Stage has been doing very well. I had like a moderate following on the internet before from my stand-up, but Late Stage has really kind of pushed that up a notch. So I think I get perceived as, I don't know. My stand-up is very horny. I do a lot of sex jokes when I do stand-up. So I think for some people I get perceived as very sexual and like very sex-driven, such to the point that like people will come up to me after a stand-up show and like make sex jokes at me in a way that like I'll tell a breeding kink joke, which is something, but then someone will come up to me afterwards and be like, I'd breed you, Ella. And it's like, no, that's okay.
Yui.
I'm performing. I'm doing theater up there.
So I shouldn't say that again.
Yeah, I've been meaning to talk to you about it in private, but this just felt like the right time to bring it up. I make a lot of jokes about, I use the phrase number go up a lot to refer to like the dopamine center in my brain that like social media triggers when I get like likes or followers, because all of social media is like built to be addictive. But I sometimes think I overuse that term to the point that people think I am like really invested in building clout or like becoming famous. And like, I think it's cool that people are watching my show. I love seeing people's responses and like the engagement we get from the audience, but like fame to me is is just like a path towards being able to make my art sustainably. Like, I don't crave being famous for its own end.
That's good.
Yeah, I think so too. I know people
Yeah.
who do like want to be famous and who are in like the comedy scene because their goal is to be famous.
And it's always for such like sad, horrible reasons. Like when they do that, I'm like, just talk to your mom.
Right,
Just
like
have
it's
one
like
conversation.
right, and like
Yeah.
right. So I like right. There's dopamine in my brain when I gain a bunch of Instagram followers, and it's cool to see that people are liking the work I'm making. But at the end of the day, if I could sustainably make late stage without being Instagram famous, I would. But it's just that
Yeah.
I've chosen an art form that requires you to be sort of famous to
So
keep doing
visible.
Right,
Yeah.
like performing requires visibility to like make money doing it, and like that's the goal.
Well, this is like the point of this segment is just to have you, but like, does it attract you the idea of like doing maybe just like being a producer / writer instead of being so visible?
Yeah, I mean, probably less producing. I think I'm good at producing. I produce T for T. I've done a lot of producing work on late stage, but like that skill set is not something I like find myself particularly enjoying. But certainly writing, like if I were to be able to get like staffed as a writer on any of the existing late night shows, I think that would be a really like dream come true job for me. As so say we all.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I started as a musical theater student in college, and then I pivoted to journalism. And so I thought I was gonna be a writer and a journalist for many years until I started doing stand up again. But ultimately, I do like love the art of performing. And so it's just like I love performing. I love performing in front of a small audience. I love like live performance, especially, and that's why late stage is so cool to me. Is that like I get to have a live audience, even though it's mostly like a product that we're putting out onto the internet. So I don't know. I wish there was a world where like making television and being like making a living. Like I just don't want to barista anymore. You know, I want to just like make the TV show I make for money. Not a lot of money. I'm not rich is my end goal either. It's just like I want to be able to pay my rent and make my art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I worry, I think, because I like the character on late stage and my character as a stand-up performer is like, I'm a dumb blonde and I love sex and being famous. That like I do worry that that's how I come off to people in public. That's my answer.
Well, to begin with how I perceive you one as goofy.
I'll take
I
it.
perceive you as very goofy. You said you don't see yourself earlier on. You said you don't think you're that strong as a writer. I think you are very strong as a writer.
Thank you.
I do. I also think you're very quick off the cuff, which ties into being a good writer. That your brain is just, I feel like it's very good at coming up with jokes and writing. I think you're talented at that. I think that you're a very kind person. I think you're easy to be around. I think you're lovely.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, I think there's like a general sweetness to you, which is always funny when people come on here and they're like, I think people think I'm a bitch. It's always the nice people, because it's like the people who would worry about that are like generally the people who don't want to
Right.
come off that way, right? Who are trying to be kind to others.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
People who are bitches actually don't worry about
They don't worry about it at all.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I never
Name
worry
them.
about it.
Name them.
I'll
Let's
name
sound off.
I'll name
Lucas
myself
Arnold.
Lucas
Yeah.
Arnold, yeah, Jordan Brown.
Yep.
I think you are motivated. I think you are very, very intelligent and savvy. I think you're like easy to talk to and grounded. Terminally online. I feel like we can chat about all the wild brain rot memes. And just I don't know, just like the word I would use, like a very inspiring person. Like it's very cool to have you on.
This is the nicest thing anyone has said to me in weeks. Thank you guys.
I love that there's like weeks ago someone said like a much nicer
Right.
Yeah. This really made my afternoon.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. This morning is
This morning
its
was
own
pretty
thing.
awesome. You're good at this part of the
Yeah,
day.
yeah, you're all right
Yeah.
at this.
But we have a second bit,
Okay.
which is prophecy corner, this is gonna be a little bit goofier.
Okay.
You can be like fuck around if you
I'll
want.
switch modes.
But yeah, let's say where
Pivot.
you see yourself in 5 years.
This serious answer, I would love to be living alone. I have never lived alone since moving to New York, and I love my roommates, and I will continue to love my roommates, but man, oh man, do I value my own space. In 5 years, I think it would be really cool to not be making coffee anymore. I've been doing that shit for
Ooh.
5 years now. So if I hit 10 years of being a barista, I think that is not an achievement. That is not like a badge of honor I am going to wear.
That's fair.
I think I would like to be well known for something controversial in 5 years.
Oh, I see
Not
that.
like-
I see that happening.
Not like mega problematic because I don't want to be a bad
Yeah.
person, but I think it would
And that's
be
where we're different. I want you to be a bad person.
right. I'll work on that for you.
Thank you.
But I think I would like to for my name to be tied to like something that people have strong opinions about.
I totally see that for you. I almost see it as like when you brought up ContraPoints earlier, like people got mad at her ultimately because she was trying to do something good.
Yeah.
Like, she's interesting and knows a lot about philosophy and thinks about the takes she puts out. And
ultimately, she like some people who make video essays are sort of just like summarizing information and spitting it back out, and she like has a thesis. And when you have a thesis, people are going to disagree with you eventually.
Yeah.
Right. So like goofy answer, like I want to be canceled. Haha. But like, no, I want to be making work where I like am like staking my flag in the ground, staking a claim and
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
like standing
You
by
wanna
my,
be
my
Eminem.
opinions.
Well, now I want steak.
Yeah.
One time, pre-transition, I had bleach blonde hair and I auditioned for the NYU stand-up club, which was called the Astor Place Riots. And the year I auditioned, the person in charge of that stand-up club was Rachel Sennett. She
Okay.
did not let me in. That's fine. Rachel?
Rachel,
She
come
did
on
all
the
right.
pod.
She did all
Rachel,
right.
come on the pod. Rachel, come on the pod.
Rachel, what are you doing?
Come on.
Come
on.
But as I left those auditions, I got into an elevator, and a very large man got in next to me. I have short bleach blonde hair. I'm wearing a gray hoodie. And he turns to me, and he looks at me and goes, "Hey, man, you look like Eminem, but a faggot."
Okay, kind of ate you up. Kind of ate you up there. Wow.
I said,
Did you laugh at any point that day?
I laughed as soon as I got off the elevator. But,
Okay.
but we had to ride 3 floors down in
Oh,
the student
God.
center at NYU.
Well, did you say thank you?
I went, "Thanks." And then we sat in silence while the elevator went down 3 floors.
That's crazy.
I should have said "you too."
Should have.
Oh yeah.
I feel like you're gonna be thinking about retorts for like a long time.
Yeah, I
I'm
mean,
gonna
that
be thinking
was-
about them on your behalf.
That was 6 years ago or whatever, and I
That's
am still thinking about it
nuts.
anytime someone talks about Eminem.
Wherever you are, come on the pod.
Open
Whoever
offer.
said that-
said it.
Open offer. Oh my God.
This
yeah.
has been so much fun. Elle, where can people find you? Where can people find Late
I've had
Stage?
so much fun. Thank you for having me. You
Thank
can
you so
find me on Instagram at Ella.Yurman, Yurman, on Twitter at Ella Yurman,
parentheses.
with parentheses
3
around my
parentheses,
name.
yeah.
I'm on Blue Sky, I guess, but I don't use that shit anymore because it was
people use
boring.
that?
There was a moment where I really thought everyone was going to pivot to Blue Sky off of X.com, formerly Twitter, but as you said, like Twitter's just like a wasteland now, so you can sort of dick around and not
do
worry
whatever you
about
want.
it. Yeah.
You can tweet "had lunch today." It's like 2013 Twitter again. It
Exactly.
rocks. Yeah.
That's where you can find me. You can find Late Stage, Late Stage Live on all platforms. So that's YouTube and Instagram and Twitter and TikTok. We haven't like broken through the TikTok algorithm yet. We're doing very well on Instagram, but our TikTok just hit 10K and our view we did not get great. Like something about what our content model is not appealing to the TikTok algorithm. But we'll get there.
It's so annoying how inconsistent performances across different social media
I know
platforms.
it's really
Like, and when something works well, amazing on every single one, you're like, oh, this is amazing. And then like the net is,
right. The next thing is right. I'll get something that gets like 600,000 views on Instagram and then like 2,000 views on TikTok. It's like,
Yeah.
what is going on there? But so yeah, Late Stage Live on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. And then patreon.com/Late Stage Live is where you can find you get the episodes early by a day. You get a bonus podcast with me and Reed, and we're going to start bringing on writers and guests. So I imagine
Nice.
eventually we'll bring on Lucas and Gabby. But first we're bringing on Sharia Mattis, I believe, our next episode.
fabulous. We love Sharia.
Yeah.
There's like BTS content on there. You get your name in the credits, and yeah, you throw us some money, and eventually I get to pay my writers. So that would be
Sounds
Nice.
good.
awesome.
Yeah.
Well, that is it from us. I will say I'm headlining New York Comedy Club Stamford, Connecticut. I'm headlining that May
so
23rd.
exciting.
Yeah. I'm very excited. And then afterwards, I'm going to be going to Rhode Island for the Rogue Island Comedy Fest. If you're in the area, swing on by for that. Where we'll make out. It will be great. And yeah, otherwise sign up for emails. But I think we can make an announcement.
Yes, Lucas and I are coming to Fringe.
Whoa!
We're going to
Festival.
Fringe for the Meerkats Comedy Hour.
Wait, for real?
And yes,
Yeah,
we
yeah,
are.
That's
We're
awesome.
So
We're doing a
excited,
split
yeah.
bill stand-up show.
Yes.
I'm excited.
So
It's gonna be a
exciting.
blast. Well, more information is going to come out about that very soon.
Yes.
We're going to post about it
Indeed.
this week. And you'll see it before because this is going to come out a couple weeks from now. But thank you to Ella. Thank you to Lucas. Thank you to me. Thank you to yourselves. We've been two Nosy Meerkats. See you next time.
See you next time.
Thank
but
you.
come see us on Patreon.
Come see us on
in a moment
Patreon.
right now because we're going to have a little special bonus thing. But yes, thank you to
Do
Ella
you need a
Yurman.
pee first?